What I'm about to tell you about Google Ads will unlock easy mode for your e-commerce brand, because this isn't going to be the everyday advice you hear from most gurus on YouTube or other social media platforms. Because the reality is, Google Ads is a predictable platform which, once you understand and actually unlock, opens the realm of possibilities for endless scale. I say this because we have been using this exact advice and these exact things to now scale over 30 brands consistently month over month to values like these ones you may see on the screen, where it's running at a 16x ROI or 11x ROI, and that too at scale, $46,000 per month, $56,000, $1 million, $400,000, so on and so forth. But the very first thing I will tell you, which will pretty easily give you an unfair advantage over everybody else using Google Ads in your niche, is the reality behind Google's recommendation system. Now, I speak with e-commerce brand owners regularly under my Google Ads agency, Euro Marketing, who tell me that their actual strategy for Google Ads for these past 30, 60, 90 days has been to listen to Google's recommendations and literally click auto apply. That's basically how they're trying to scale on Google. And anytime I hear something like this, I just want to bang my head on the wall, simply because this is the absolute worst thing you can do for your Google Ads account, for your e-commerce brand. The main reason is you're basically giving your Google your wallet and the money inside that wallet for free. Anytime you do this, you got to understand Google's recommendations, anything Google's reps tell you, it's all about making them more money. It's literally a whole playbook that they have where these reps, these robots that control the recommendation, go through this playbook, which literally at the top of the playbook, the main goal is make Google as much money as possible. So they will often tell you things such as to lower the ROAS restrictions, or to increase the budgets rapidly, or to basically change around with the bidding strategy, or to change around with the budget, 5x your budget for 5x your sales. These are all things within that playbook which lead to your destruction but lead to the benefit of Google Ads. And although this might sound a little bit twisted, it's the unfortunate reality of Google Ads. And the good brands that actually have an unfair advantage know this and stay 10 feet away from not only the Google Ads reps but from Google's recommendations as well. Because the real unfair advantage here is to understand what data to ignore versus what data to double down on. And one of the best things I can tell you, if you are still planning on using those Google Ads recommendations, is don't listen randomly to things such as raising budgets or adding broad keywords. Instead, only optimize based on profit signals. When it tells you certain keywords are performing better, or when it tells you certain industries or trends or markets are out there, which are those that you need to be aware of. Things like these are the only ones which you should actually be listening to and then optimizing your strategy based on, because this is what will give your brand an unfair advantage. Second way to gain that unfair advantage is to own the product feed. I sound like a broken record at this point, but your ads are only as strong as your product feed, period. Think of it like meta ads or TikTok ads. If you are doing something like no interest targeting, and if you're not going after any specific audiences, well, in that situation, your creative is what tells the meta ads algorithm or the TikTok ads algorithm who your perfect customer is. And based on how they interact with your brand and with your ad creatives, meta ads and TikTok ads decide who to show your ads more to. It's the same thing on Google Ads, because your ad creative itself is your product feed on the Google Ads platform. Based on how your audience is interacting with the product feed, are they clicking on it, are they going on your website and bouncing, or not even clicking on it, these things tell the algorithm who to show your ad to, if it needs to be shown to a different audience or not. So the best thing you can do for your algorithm is to own the product feed, make it as good as possible by optimizing your entire funnel in that sense, because this is what will give you an unfair advantage on the product feed side of things. Keyword optimization, click enticing titles, proper Google Merchant Center promos, reviews, so on and so forth. All these things basically help not only your brand stand out from the competition, but also signal to the algorithm that you are a real brand, you care about your customers, and you deserve high quality traffic. It's literally that simple. And when 95% of your competitors are basically using the same generic product titles or descriptions, or even the approaches that work for meta ads or TikTok ads, your brand will be the brand that is doing something different, that's utilizing an approach specifically designed for Google Ads. Which, by the way, if you run a brand doing $50,000 or more per month in revenue, you would rather get help doing this custom approach with Google, getting the things in place to scale to the next level. Go on to my website at yourmarketing.com, schedule a complete completely free call with me and let's see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But one of the easiest ways, which has worked time and time again, which will give your brand an unfair advantage with the product feed, is to add powerful keywords such as luxurious, modern, eco-friendly, and differentiate between different variations like the colors, styles, sizes, etc. These things alone give you that unfair advantage, make your brand and your products have higher perceived value, which is ultimately what you need to scale to the very next level. But higher CTRs plus lower CPCs while competitors pay more per link click is your ultimate goal, and this is exactly how you get that unfair advantage. But the unfair advantage kind of proceeds with the product feed into the keywords themselves, because the main strategy you should be trying with keywords to really gain that unfair advantage is not to just have some random garbage keywords within your product titles and within your descriptions and everything, because keep in mind, like you can do interest targeting with Meta ads or TikTok ads, your keywords are the interest targeting for Google ads. So what I personally do, and this is my strategy which works for 9 out of 10 brands with Google ads, is the reverse intent method. Now I have a whole video on this which you can check out on my channel, but essentially instead of going into the keyword planner tool first and starting your strategic approach to find the right keywords there, you want to work backwards. You want to start with searching up your main product with a broad keyword first on Google, and then working backwards to the refined keyword section, finding out what people are actually searching for, and then working backwards then to the keyword planner tool, and then finding the right keywords. This lets you uncover profitable long tail keywords which are bigger in size, but also lets you go a little bit broader as needed. So for example, if you were trying to sell rugs on your brand, the unfair advantage for you would be not to go after the keyword rug, but to go after the keyword modern brown rug for living room, which you found with the reverse intent method. Now the difference between finding this type of keyword with first going to the keyword planner tool and then doing the research method itself is this reverse intent method actually lets you understand what people are actually wanting in the market first and what you have even the potential to rank for before you waste time going into the keyword planner tool and just going one by one with after each keyword, searching it up, so on and so forth. So these kinds of keywords that you find with a reverse intent method, from my experience, convert more, cost less, and scale faster, which is your unfair advantage with Google Ads for your product feed. But moving more towards the campaign strategy and the actual strategic approach to get you that unfair advantage, you want to keep one thing in mind. You should only be segregating out your products, your campaigns, your campaign types even, only until to the point that is necessary. I'm speaking with so many brands, especially nowadays, who are going above and beyond for absolutely zero reason, and as a result, their budget is getting over allocated, their ROAS targets are not getting met, and their overall campaign strategy is a complete mess, if there's even a strategy to begin with. So what you want to understand is if you overdo budget allocation, if you overdo segregation with your products, you will risk not spending enough money on each specific campaign or each specific product and the strategy itself, which of course means that you're not going to be able to test everything out properly, and you will basically let your budget get wasted on things which are unnecessary. On the other hand, let's assume that you are not segregating enough and you have like only a select few campaigns and a select few strategies with all of your products lump summed in there. The problem with this approach is that you risk having a large portion of your product catalog not spend the necessary money, not basically test the products as they should be. So you risk running your entire brand on only 10% or 20% of your product catalog with Google Ads. The rest is just sitting there rotting away, not getting any type to spend at all. And this is a very risky situation because this can limit the amount of scale you can achieve with your brand in general. But all of these things that you do, from what I've been mentioning from the start to now, it should all be based around the profit first optimization strategy. You don't want to be optimizing for CTRs. You don't care about impressions. None of this matters at the end of the day because you cannot take CTRs or impressions to the bank. Instead, what you want to do is optimize for profits only. You want to be tracking the marketing efficiency ratio, which if you don't know how to do this, let me know in the comment section below. But as a business owner, as a founder or a marketing manager, MER or marketing marketing efficiency ratio is your number one best friend, in addition to blended ROAS and not just the in-platform ROAS, because Google Ads could be telling you one thing, but your ROAS might be completely different. And we all know that Google is not the most efficient in terms of tracking everything properly. But you want to be acting very fast when there's bad campaigns, bad products, bad keywords, and by killing them when necessary, and that too quickly, so you don't end up wasting unnecessary money on these things. And you want to only scale the ones that are tied to your margins, which leave you profitable at the end of the day. So your unfair advantage here with this approach is to focus on a revenue that stays in your pocket, not just the revenue on the screen. This is where you will benefit the most with the profit first optimization strategy. But kind of in conclusion, to wrap things up, don't follow Google blindly. You want to own your product feed because of this, and you want to incorporate strategies such as the reverse intent keyword strategy, segregating out the products properly, only as much as needed. And when you do all of these things with the profit first approach, that's when you have a major competitive advantage over your competition. And let's say you only apply even one of these things, you'll still be ahead of 95% of your competition, because most brand owners, they don't even think about this side. They're just wasting money on Google Ads, just launching a bunch of stuff, hoping something works. But again, if you run an e-commerce brand making $50,000 or more per month in revenue, you need some extra help scaling to the next level with Google Ads, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com, schedule a completely free call with me, and let's see how we can potentially work together and make that happen.